High in the shadowed peaks of the Caucasus, there is a god who watches, not with two eyes, but with one. A hunter whose arrows strike without warning. A guardian of beasts, both gentle and monstrous. A deity who once defied his father and paid for it in blood and vision. Tonight, we walk into the forests of the Vainakh people, where the trees still whisper the name, Elta. Welcome back, witches and wanderers, to the Morbid Witch Podcast. I'm your host, Kari, and tonight I am bringing you deep into the ancient world of the Vainakh, the Chechen and Ingush people of the North Caucasus. Tonight we unravel the myths, the folklore, and the shadows surrounding Elta, the god of the hunt, lord of wild animals, protector of the harvest, and a deity who is blinded in one eye as punishment from his father, the supreme god, Deela. This episode is meant to be listened to with the lights low and your ears open. Let's begin. The mythology of the Vainakh people is ancient, older than Christianity, older than Islam, shaped by mountains that stretch toward the sky and valleys carved by glaciers. In their spiritual world, Deela is the supreme sky father. Sela, Tosholi, Moj, and others weave roles of motherhood, storms, fate, and war. And somewhere between wilderness and farmland stands Elta, a liminal god of both danger and nourishment. Elta is not just a hunter. He is the force that balances life and death, the cycle of the natural world, the turning of seasons. And like many gods of wild places, Elta is unpredictable. Not cruel, not kind, simply elemental. In Vainakh belief, Elta governs the hunt, wild animals, predators, and prey alike, the autumn harvest, and the forests and mountain slopes. He is a god who feeds the people by allowing prey to be taken, and punishes disrespect toward nature. He is revered by hunters, farmers, herders, and anyone who walks the wild paths alone. And like many gods of balance, he embodies both gentleness and ferocity. Elta is said to appear as a tall, muscular man wrapped in animal skins, a predator like a wolf, lynx, or eagle, or a one-eyed hunter with a bow of ash wood and arrows tipped in bone. That missing eye? That's the heart of his mythos. Elta's father is Deela, the Vainakh high god, and like many divine sons, Elta was once rebellious. The exact reason varies by region. Some say Elta broke a sacred rule regarding the division of the harvest. Others say he killed an animal forbidden to be hunted. And others whisper that he challenged Deela's authority directly, a cosmic act of pride. But the result is always the same. Deela blinds Elta in one eye. This punishment does not weaken Elta. It transforms him. His single eye is said to see truth, intent, and fate. Hunters believe Elta could see whether a kill was done with gratitude or greed, and he would respond accordingly. Elta's domain isn't just a wilderness in a physical sense. It is a spiritual wilderness, a threshold where humans and spirits mingle. The Vainakh forests were seen as alive. Animals were considered children of Elta. Certain trees were sacred, and every hunt required ritual respect. If a hunter acted with arrogance, waste, or cruelty, they said Elta would lead them into a canyon from which there was no return. But if one approached with humility, Elta himself could guide their arrow. In one old legend, a hunter encountered a brilliant white stag in the mountains. Its eyes were almost human, intelligent, sorrowful, ancient. He drew his bow, but just as he released the arrow, the wind changed. The arrow veered sharply, striking a tree instead. From behind the stag stepped a one-eyed man wearing a wolfskin cloak. Elta. He told the hunter, "To take what you do not need is to steal from your own future." The hunter returned home empty-handed, but the next harvest was the most bountiful in his village's history. In another tale, a village faced a bitter winter. Storms buried the paths, and firewood ran out. At night, the hunters heard movement outside their doors. Not footsteps. Not human. Wolves. But these wolves carried embers in their mouths, glowing, alive, impossible. They dropped the embers at each household, ensuring the fires would burn through the cold. In the morning, the villagers followed the tracks, which ended in a single human footprint, Elta's. One of the most haunting tales describes a young boy lost in the woods. He wandered for 2 days, hearing strange sounds, branches breaking, whispers in the leaves, an eye always watching. On the third night, a tall figure approached, one eye glowing like an ember. Elta. He led the boy home safely, but the boy told his family, "He never looked at the path, only at me." The story is used to teach respect for nature, and the idea that Elta watches not where you walk, but who you are while you walk it. Though most known as a hunter god, Elta is equally tied to the harvest season. Autumn belonged to him, the turning of the leaves, the gathering of crops, the storing of life for the winter. Farmers would offer the first grains of the season, bowls of milk, small portions of meat, and braided herbs hung from doorways. Because just as Elta could guide the hunter's arrow, he could also guide the year's final bounty. A good harvest meant Elta was pleased. A poor one meant someone had broken the natural pact. Worship of Elta often took place outdoors, never inside closed structures. His rituals honored the cycles of nature. Hunters would lay down their weapons before the first hunt of the season. Hunters would pour libations into the soil. Children were taught to greet forest animals respectfully, as Elta's messengers. One of the most fascinating aspects, Elta was seen as protective of those who showed gratitude. Ungrateful or arrogant people, however, were said to vanish into the woods, never seen again. Elta's mythology reflects several major themes: respect for nature, the consequences of pride, the balance between predator and prey, the link between sustenance and sacrifice, and the wisdom gained through loss. His missing eye becomes more than a punishment. It is a symbol of clarity, liminality, and perception beyond ordinary sight. Elta stands as one of the most compelling figures in Vainakh tradition, a wild god, a guardian god, a stern but fair protector of natural law. He reminds us that every action in the world has weight. Every harvest has a cost. Every hunt requires intention. And sometimes, losing an eye means seeing the world more clearly. Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the legends of Elta, the one-eyed hunter of the Vainakh Mountains. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow the Morbid Witch podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio for your favorite dark folklore. You can also follow on TikTok for updates, bonus content, and behind-the-scenes witchery. And as always, stay strange, stay spooky, and remember, the shadows are always watching.